Hey there everyone, this is Jeremy, the Music Andy, and we're here today to talk about Zeal Ardor's newest release. It's their self-titled album, originally coming from New York, currently residing in Switzerland. Zeal is known for genre blending. They are known for putting in some gospel, some spirituals into their songs. They're also known for taking different metal approaches, black metal being the most common one, and then even sneaking in some electronic ambient stuff, especially in their second album, Devil Is Fine. This will be the first full dive I've ever done with this band as far as albums go. I've heard songs here and there. I know the band's name. I've heard them talked about a lot for Avant-Garde Metal. So this is going to be my first listen. I'm very excited to dive right into it. The first thing I want to say is that this album is definitely Avant-Garde Metal. This is constantly pushing different directions as far as genres go. Blending them together, kind of separating them together at points. You'll get a stop and go a lot with different genres, but sometimes they do layer it on top of each other and really create a dense, unique listen. Right on to the first track, which is the self-titled track. This is industrial rock, kind of combining that gospel element that they're known for, and this is fantastic. The textures from the guitar are very nicely done. They're very overwhelming. There's no sound escape in this at all. Emersion is a song that has some beautiful synth pop moments, and then that will cut instantly into some black metal, kind of dancing between these two, kind of giving a stop and go motion a lot of the time. But these synth pop electronic sections of this are done beautifully, and it really sounds like Porter Robinson at times. The ending piano section on this is very tasteful. I love it every single time. I think this is a fantastic track altogether. Immersion is a really well done song. It has some synth pop in the beginning of it. The electronics all throughout it are fantastic. It cuts into black metal. There's a stop and go motion with this a lot. The guitars at the end kind of sound like Godspeed the way that they're screaming. The electronics kind of sound like Porter Robinson for the most part. I think are two good comparisons for it. But it is a fantastic track overall, and the ending piano section is so soft and pillowy that I just want to fall asleep right there contently. I Caught You is a track that constantly goes between different metal genres. We got some new metal, we got some metalcore, we got some black metal going on. There's great guitar moments. It's a fantastic track all the way through. I Caught You is a track that's constantly changing between different metal. It's going to new metal, it's going to metalcore, it's going to black metal. It's a very engaging song. And then we have the song Church Burns, which is the kind of more classical approach by this band, giving us some blues rock, giving us some gospel, and kind of combining metal into this sound, kind of, stacking it and making a more layered section, even though this is definitely not one of my favorite songs of the album. Hold Your Head Low is a song that I think does everything that Church Burn does, and does it 100 times better. So I would rather listen to that song than Church Burns any day of the week. Then you take one of my favorite tracks, which is JMB, and it takes kind of this groove, funk, alternative metal, black metal approach. It has a lot going on. It's a super engaging song. And the guitar part around the 44 second mark kind of has a prog element to it. This thing is scaling, it's going all over the place. It is a very, very unique listen, and I think it's one of their best songs on this entire album. Furthering this more, I'm going to say that the vocals kind of adapt to the instrumentation that's going on, and the instrumentation also provides a new scene for the vocals to kind of sprawl out over. This constant changing of footing and layering of the instrumentation and different styles and genres of music is exactly what I love about this album. And it is exactly what avant-garde metal is, constantly pushing new sounds that may one day sound completely like a whole new type of metal. I much prefer the style when they layer it together and make it dense, rather than the stop and go cut like Emersion did with the synth pops, and then it would cut completely right into the black metal. I think this is a song that kind of transitions and flows very well. And this is some of the best work by them. Another positive thing that I want to point out is the wow moments of this album, or the things that just completely floored me. And there is a few on this, a lot more than the lows. Death to the Holy is one of the first sightings of these wow moments. There's a piano beat, and it's kind of going along to his vocals, a little funky, little rappy, hip-hoppy kind of. And then it kind of has this sinister key tone that goes over top of it. It comes out of left field completely, and I think it just makes a very unique listen. Immersion, again, the entire song is a wow factor, even if it does the cut and then go that I don't like as much. Still having this immersion of two different songs and genres together is still a big wow moment for me, and it's a song that's that just takes my breath away when I first heard it for the first time, especially. Golden Liar is a song that I don't like altogether overall. It kind of has a feel of a horseman kind of going into my subdivision and warning me about the apocalypse. I don't want to listen too much to the vocals, but around the minute 40-second mark, there's this guitar that lasts for about 10 seconds. It's super melodic. It has a great tone, and they just don't continue with it. But for those 10 seconds, I was definitely enthralled with it. Then definitely my favorite music moment of this entire album, maybe of the year? Nah, probably not. But Feed the Machine, 147 to 207, has some of this just disjointed guitar parts. The tone on this is great. It's super angular. Like I said, it's disjointed. It's off rhythm. And it just really carries this moment. And again, it furthers the idea of that they give me something for about 20 seconds that sounds completely unique and would take this into even more of a new direction. But they cut it off completely, leaving me wondering, why are you doing this? Introducing this and then completely taking it away from me. Instead, they go back to their gospel metal for the most part, and it sounds alright, but it's not what I like from this band from what I'm hearing on this album. Since we're talking about negative things, I guess we'll just continue to go in this direction. The big thing I want to say is about half of this album is super interesting and half of it is a little bland to me. Golden Liar to Bow is probably the section that I don't like the most. This is just the gospel metal that I'm talking about. Not too much going on. It's blended together well, but it's just nothing new for me. And yes, I don't want to be the guy, but when the clean gospel vocals come on, I can only hear Imagine Dragons for the most part. And that completely sucks that the gospel genre has been ruined from the vocals of Imagine Dragons. But the chanting at the end of Bow definitely doesn't help the case for the band as being related to Imagine Dragons. I really hope that the band continues with the more experimental touch that they're doing, adding more genres if they want, or just heavily layering these a little bit more and making them much more of a full song rather than just giving bits and pieces throughout the album and then returning back to the original sound that they're known for. Overall, this group created something that really emotionally moved me at times and did kind of bore me at times, but that's with any good art, really. I can feel each member really giving their touch to it, their preferences to it, and I think that's exactly what bands should do with each of their members, adding that creative touch. I definitely prefer that than just going back to the old playbook that you've been doing prior and just sticking to what your fans like. I'm feeling 7.1 horses in the subdivision out of 10. What did you think of this album? What albums would you like me to review in the future? Please leave a comment below and let me know. Subscribe if you like the content, and I hope you have a wonderful day.